I forgot to unmute my mic. Welcome to the Gamers Inn. Come on in, pull up a chair next to the fire. It looks like you've had a long journey. I'm your host, Jocelyn, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Ryan. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, how are you this fine week?
I am doing okay. We had a really crazy long episode of Angry Chicken today
hmm
because the Old Gods Hearthstone expansion launched, so we had to go through all of the cards. And we had a crazy pack opening stream yesterday, and we played some Hearthstone. Then I had Ladies' Night. Then we played some more Hearthstone till like way, way later than I should have been up. And yeah, it's been just crazy intense Hearthstone for the last couple of days. And this past weekend, it was actually my mom's birthday, so I was visiting my parents for the weekend. So other than Hearthstone, I actually haven't had a chance to play like anything.
Ah,
So it's just, yeah, I've been steeped in the Hearthstone universe. So before we get too far into that rabbit hole,
hmm
you did have a chance to play some more stories, and there's something specific you wanted to say?
Yeah, so like stories, it's been that like tidbit game that I've been jumping back into whenever I have like 20 minutes to an hour to play video games, which happened a lot over the weekend. There were just, okay, Caden's asleep, Ashley's fine with this weird fox killing a bunch of people. Let's do it. Let's play some stories, The Path of Destinies. And it was actually a conversation we had in Discord about how we were hoping that the game wouldn't be repetitive. I remember last week I mentioned that when you finish a chapter, it just starts over and you have choices you can make to try and get a different or better ending. And it was kind of unfortunate to find out that when you do replay, you sometimes have to replay specific chapters you've already done,
Hmm.
which unfortunately has like some of the same dialogue, and it does get kind of repetitive, which makes it a great game to revisit every couple days, because if you forget what you're doing, it's like, oh, it's easy to remember because you
You're
just
repeating it,
did
yeah.
it. Exactly. But it does kind of like throw more enemies at you and allow you to sort of test your combat skills. So that's fun. The combat's still really cool and adds new layers to it as you get more like skill points and stuff.
Oh, neat.
So that's really nice. And I think I've unlocked three truths and I'm trying to get my fourth. And I think that's where it starts to repeat a lot of elements where you unlock three, and then it's like, okay, buddy, you're just hitting your head against the wall. We're gonna actually tell you which paths will lead to a undiscovered truth
Yeah.
or ending or something, which is nice. But I'm actually curious to see when I get to the like unlocking them all whether it kind of defeats the purpose of going back and getting the other endings. It, I'm I'm still left like I really like the game, but I'm still left wondering like how it felt like there was a lot of replay value, and then now I'm thinking like maybe there isn't a whole lot, but it's definitely one of those games that you can put away and then come back to, and it's so easy to pick up and play. It's a lot of fun, and if anyone hasn't picked it up yet, I definitely recommend it. At like $15, it's a steal. It's a
Yeah.
really good game.
And I mean, I was having a ton of fun when I was playing
Mhm.
it. So I think we've said two or three times now that, yeah, Stories Path of Destinies is definitely a recommendation from the Gamers and crew. Also, I wanted to say I saw that Depth was on sale, and it was on sale for like $6 Canadian. So if you haven't picked up Depth, it's actually really, really fun. It's the one that we play on game night a lot.
Mhm.
And it's basically you have a team of divers versus a shark at like a team of sharks, and it's a lot of a lot of fun. Scary as hell sometimes, but definitely entertaining.
Oh yeah,
So
that game's fantastic, and one we haven't touched in a while. So like it's kind of due up. So if people
hmm
want to jump in, and I mean like maybe I'll pick up some copies and kind of
yeah,
hoard
I think
them.
I think we absolutely should. We should
Yeah.
grab a few copies of Depth because it's a ton of fun. But the other thing that is a ton of fun is, oh
hmm
my god, Hearthstone.
Yeah, it's back with tentacles and purple. A
Yeah.
lot of purple and I almost said turple. Tentacles and purple. Those are the key words I think when you think of what they've done to Hearthstone.
Yes, lots and lots and lots of purple. It
Mm,
is so much fun. We were waiting for a really, really long time because obviously the last time that we got content for Hearthstone was BlizzCon last year. We got
mhm.
the Leave Explorers announcement, and it was coming out the next day, and or 2 days later. I can't remember. Anyways, it was like coming out within the next week. Anyways, it was crazy. It was like, here's the next thing we're doing, and we're doing it now. And then all of a sudden we had this like 6 month. Well, I guess not 6 months. It felt like 6 month,
It
but
felt like a long time. I
yeah.
agree with you. Yeah.
But I guess 4 month kind of dip in content. So yeah, we had to wait a really long time, but now we've got a whole new set. Lots of fun cards, lots of really cool stuff going on with Old Gods. We've also got a new game board, obviously, and the release of Standard, which was basically restricting the cards that you can play with to just the cards that have released in the last 2 years. So I haven't had so much fun in Hearthstone in, I think it's been like 8 or 9 months. Like just the last 24 hours, I've just been crazy into Hearthstone. It's so much fun. And I know I should be crazy into Hearthstone anyway because I do a show about it.
It's your job,
But it's
right?
like it completely reinvigorated the game, and it made me not only want to play but want to stream. Like, oh man, it was so fun.
It's interesting as a new player. And I'm in a constant state of being a new player. I don't think I'm ever going to play the game enough where I fall out of that state. Like I just when I'm starting to get the hang of it, like something distracts me. Ooh, shiny, I'm going to go touch that for a bit. And and now that with Hearthstone, with the Old Gods expansion, it really plays to the strengths of bringing people like me back into it because I booted it up and the first thing it says is like, hey, here's 3 packs. Don't worry, we know you don't have any gold. We know you are too cheap to throw money at it. You didn't even buy Khadgar. Here's 3 packs. And you open them up and like it's the same old satisfying opening animation. You get your cards.
Oh my god, the Old God packs though, it's
Yeah,
so gross.
but it's
So
awesome.
I wish I'd thought ahead and actually had a video of a pack opening. But basically, it's a normal Hearthstone card pack, except for where the Hearthstone symbol normally is. It's like an eyeball looking thing, and it's got tentacles all over the pack. So when you crack the pack, the tentacles actually kind of like tighten and like pop the eyeball off, and then the whole thing explodes in purple goo, and
Yeah.
then you get your cards.
It's I love the animations in Hearthstone, and they continue to nail it with something as simple as opening packs. And I opened the 3 they give you, and then I was super happy to find out that they are basically giving out, I think, a total of 13 packs, depending on what quests you do, I think is the amount.
Yeah, so there are 3 packs that you get automatically, and then there are 5 packs that you get for your first 2 wins in Standard, and then 5 packs that you get if you win another 6 games on top, or sorry, 7 games on top of that. So you have to win 9 games in Standard format in total, and then they'll give you 10 packs.
Yeah, so I got my first, I guess, 8 packs, and then I bought a couple with little gold I had just sort of collecting dust, and it's really cool to see those new cards because as someone who's kind of a super casual when it comes to Hearthstone, I haven't watched any of the streams. I've seen like people commenting on the cards in sort of passing, so I had no idea what anything was. Like I have my Shaman Totem deck, which feels really out of date because I think we put it together like I don't know 8 months ago.
Yeah.
But with the introduction of Standard, the cool thing is that it's for me coming back is like, oh great, now I have to learn what cards exist and what cards don't. Are they gonna just shred my deck and make me start all over? They basically tell you like this is a wild deck and you can convert it to Standard and it shows you what cards aren't available and you can replace them as you see fit. And I think there was maybe 2 or 3 in that deck that needed to be replaced. So I threw in some old gods cards that I had just unlocked kind of to play around with. The deck functions the same way, and I'm sure there are shaman specific cards that will work for that totem deck. Like I don't know the current meta. I'm playing with a deck that works and I
Shaman
tried.
is actually really powerful now
Oh,
since
good.
Old Gods launched, so it's a good place to start for sure. There's a few new tools in Old Gods that make Totem Shaman mid-rangey and really cool. So
Oh, okay. Well, I will have to dig into that because I feel like it's still there, but it's missing some parts that uh, get taken down pretty quick by people who have already. It's been out for 2 days, and people are just Cthulhuing the crap out of this
yeah,
game.
so Cthulhu is actually the legendary that everyone gets. So
Mhm.
there are a lot of Cthulhu decks because, like everyone has access to this card. You get a couple of buff cards anyway, and a lot of the cards that work with him are commons or rares. So it's very, very easy to jump in and build a Cthulhu deck. And the whole idea behind a Cthulhu deck is basically just buff him, live long enough to play him, and then when you play him, it's pretty much a full board wipe and or kill your opponent. So it's pretty crazy, and I've seen a lot of different variations on Cthulhu decks. It's been all over the ladder, at least down where we're playing. Dills is saying that at the kind of close to legend slash bottom of legend rank, it's pretty much all aggro shaman, so that's still a thing.
Oh, perfect. Well, I haven't started my Cthulhu deck. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to like throw Cthulhu in and swap out a couple of like mana cards. But when you start out, you have the cards that power Cthulhu, and there's the two that you get for free.
Hmm.
But it felt like everybody I was playing had unlocked all the ones they needed, and I think I played a couple mages that were using the mirror image enough to keep me from hitting their face. And I think I had no idea what Cthulhu did, right? So because again, I've gone in blind.
Yeah, true, true. It's
So
so funny being so steeped
I
in
know.
Hearthstone and like trying to get every little bit of information that we possibly could get over the last couple of months. I have no idea what it would feel like if I didn't know all that I know going into these games and into the ladder and the new expansion. Like it just, I can't imagine not knowing.
Well, I mean, the fetal position is key, right?
uh,
Like, so basically, when Cthulhu got played, I thought he's gonna have 18 attack. I've got time. He's got 2 health left. I got this. And he plays Cthulhu. All of a sudden, just purple shit just flying
yes.
everywhere. And I'm like, what the hell? I hover over the card. It's like, oh, deals the amount of damage it powered up to the random enemies, and
Yeah.
it wiped, like you said, wiped the board and me, and he won with 2 health left. And I was like, lesson learned. But I, I've run into the same issue I always run into with Hearthstone, which is building my own deck. I'm terrible at it. So
Deck building is tricky.
it is, and there's some tools in there like they basically set you up with basic decks for every class,
Oh
which
yeah,
is
the
interesting.
deck recipes are a thing now, which is
Mm.
I guess new since the last time that you went and did anything. Have you tried deck recipes?
I haven't tried. I haven't tried. I haven't tried deck recipes. It sounds weird. Like if I tried it, I would know what you're talking about.
Mm. It's like when
But
you go to build a new deck, you're now
right.
presented with an option, and it
Oh.
says like, do you want to build a custom deck or do you want to build one of three kind of archetypes? So
Oh.
then it will give you a deck and say like, this is in here because this, and here's a big list of cards. And then if you don't have all the cards that are in the recipe,
Mhm.
then it will say, like, we suggest replacing that card with this that you do have.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it's like a deck building tool.
I'm gonna have to check that out because my rogue deck was shit. It was terrible. I lost pretty hardcore. I just don't like, and that's the thing. Like deck building is something you learn by, continuing to play the game past the 2 week mark or so after you've picked it up again. And I enjoy Hearthstone when I've got a solid deck and I'm winning, and when I'm not losing by a landslide. I don't mind losing.
Yeah, but
Fine.
the blowouts just feel bad.
Yeah, and I don't even mind the games that go long and you lose by like with that Cthulhu loss. I was like, wow, that was really cool. I don't mind losing to that, and I'm not at a point where I'm losing stars, so it's not even like I have to visibly see me
Oh
sucking.
man, you can't even lose stars at your rank?
I'm super low. Like I haven't played. I had the Christmas card back when I
Oh
went back in.
man.
So it's been a while. I've been. You would think Hearthstone would be this, and that's the thing is like there wasn't a lot going on in Hearthstone. So it was playing with the same cards. And I think for me, as not quite a hardcore fan, um, not having new content for that long made me step away probably faster than a lot of other people who are super into Hearthstone, like playing the same cards over and over and over again. Because by now we sort of would have had something around the time we kind of would have hit that this is getting long in the tooth sort of thing. It's the same problem that Warcraft is suffering from, except Warcraft hasn't learned their lesson. I feel like Hearthstone we're gonna get something new probably in the summer, right? Before
Yeah.
Old Gods gets stale.
Yeah,
Uh,
so their release schedule is card expansion, adventure, card expansion, and so it's kind of I think going to be like spring, summer, fall
Yeah.
because then in the kind of big gap between fall and spring again, we've got the World Championships to kind of distract us. I do think that like spring will be earlier next year. Like we won't have to wait all the way till April. We'll probably see something in February or March. But yeah, kind of like March-ish, and then like July, and then maybe September, October, maybe October, because they're going to get it in before BlizzCon, obviously. So
Yeah, and I really dig the way they what they did with adding Khadgar and adding that paladin hero
yeah.
by playing up to level 20 in WoW. Like I like those promotions to get you
Mm-hmm.
back into the game. And if they do more of those during the lull, like even just saying like, hey, we're not gonna have an expansion for another 3 months, but here's a hero you can do something crazy to earn or even just
Mm-hmm.
pay for. That's even a good bridge to be like, ooh, I'm gonna get back in there because that I went and played Diablo again after a year worth of absence, just to get that mount in Heroes of the Storm, and I think that's
Oh.
such a good way to have cross promotion. If they do
Mm-hmm.
more of that, it might keep me around. But this Old Gods expansion, obviously, I've got a lot of cards to collect. I didn't do the pre-purchase. I always regret it once I get into it and be like, man, if
If
I just
only.
thrown $70 at them for 50 packs or whatever, I would be able to build whatever deck I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But now I've kind of either have to earn it or pay a little more. I don't know, maybe next time I'll have learned my lesson and be like, okay, I'm going to pre-purchase the expansion because that's a solid deal, right? Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. You're
yeah.
essentially getting 10 packs for free,
Yeah.
based on the pricing. So yeah, I did do the pre-purchase,
Mm.
and I had 20 packs that I got just with my gold because I had about 2,000 gold saved up.
Nice.
I also had 10,000 dust, but that went away real quickly because I was playing last night. I played way too long, and I played post ladies' night, which means I'd had
Uh-oh.
quite a lot of wine. And I was trying to like build all the decks that were beating me, and it didn't really go well. And I was just like, oh, I should craft this legendary and this legendary and this legendary. So I have no idea what my dust balance is right now. I'm kind of scared to look, but there was a lot of crafting going on last night.
Oh man, drunk
But
dusting. That's not good.
yeah.
That's not.
Jim in the chat room makes a good point. It's hard to justify the cost of buying a pack bundle of that size if you're an infrequent player. It's true. It's going to take you a really long time to build up the same collection as it would to just go ahead and buy packs, but that's, kind of the design of the game. And I think that for the amount that you play, you're
Mhm.
probably going to be able to earn and dust and craft whatever you need to build a deck or two. And that's probably enough for you. You're probably going to
Yeah.
play for a few weeks, have some fun, and then move on to something else. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really think that you need a huge chunk of card packs the same way that, like, I do, because I need to know all the cards, I need to play all the
Yeah.
cards, test, build, all that kind of stuff. So, plus I love Hearthstone. So,
Mm. Yeah. And
I'm going to play almost every day for the foreseeable
ever.
future. Yeah.
I love Hearthstone too. I love what it is, and I love when I'm enjoying it. I just get so distracted. It's like MMOs in general. It's just I cannot like hitch onto that wagon. When Legion comes out, yes, of course I will be there, and it's gonna be great, and we're gonna be demon hunters, and we're gonna like do stuff, and it's gonna
Jump
be great.
around. Yep.
Yeah, jump around, twirl. I think that's what they do. That's what demon
Pretty
hunters
sure.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you can only be a demon hunter if you're an elf, I
Mhm.
think. So blood elf or night elf, I think. Um
So
and
twirl or
so
flip.
yeah, they twirl when they jump. The blood elves do anyways.
Yeah, and Monkey Breath in the chat room saying boo to justification. Like, yeah, if you like $70 for 50 packs, that's the
It's a
price of a
good
video game.
deal. Yeah.
It's a great deal, and it's the price of a video game up here in Canada. And I'm sure the exchange rate when you buy it in the US, it's a similar fashion. So buying a new game, sometimes those games last a couple hours,
hmm
sometimes those games last many, many weeks. So
Well, I mean,
there's no
Quantum
justification
Quantum
needed.
Break is a perfect example of that.
Mhm.
I had a blast playing Quantum Break. I put more time into that than I have anything else in a long time. I think I in total ended up spending about 25 or 30 hours in the game, and it cost me $70 or whatever it was, like full AAA title price.
Mhm.
I play Hearthstone way more than that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And again, like I think the pre-purchase is a great awesome offer, especially because it alleviates the weight of day one having to, oh God, I gotta purchase like I just gotta purchase like two big rounds of card packs. Instead, you're like you're pre-purchasing, you're excited, throw $70 at it, and then when it launches, you've got 50 packs to open, and you're just so ecstatic.
Yeah.
I've seen so many people opening packs
And
and being so excited.
people love to watch other people open packs, and I'm
Hmm.
not really sure why, but it's like really exciting for the audience to see
Yeah,
what your luck is like, I guess. I don't know.
they just want to watch people's salty tears as they don't get any legendaries, I think is what it
Yeah,
is.
really.
It's like unboxings, right? Like,
Yeah.
ooh, I know what you're unboxing because you told me it's not like it's like a spoiler right there in the headline. At least when you're watching people open Hearthstone packs, it's random. You have no idea what they're gonna get unless it's a YouTube video and they say, "Here's what I got," just in case you're curious. But it's such a cool experience, and I always look forward to uh, opening more packs as I go. So I'm gonna keep with it. I don't know if I'm gonna build a Cthulhu deck. It sounds like I should look up these shaman cards that you
Hmm.
speak of, and try to like tentacleize my shaman totem deck,
Yeah.
or if that's even a thing.
There is also a way if you have a
Hmm.
wild like a deck that you've already built that's in wild format and you want to change it to standard.
Hmm.
There actually is a like convert to standard button, and it will take out anything that's a wild card and then leave you those spaces in your deck. So you don't
Hmm.
have to like go in and try to figure out exactly what's wild and what's not. There's a button.
Yeah, I think my problem was I was trying to build decks on my phone, and then
Mm,
I started playing on the iPad, and it was a little bit better, but I just need to find some office time and sit down and load it up on the computer and try to build a couple decks. I want to
yeah.
try the recipe thing. That sounds like right up my alley to at least get past rank 22.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm not looking to hit legend. I'm not looking to even break into the single digits. I just want to build a deck that's competent, and like I said, I don't mind losing as long as I'm not like getting trounced.
Yeah, and I think
That's no
deck
fun.
recipes is a really good way to do that because they're very well built decks.
Mhm.
So they're going to give you exactly what you need in a deck, and you don't have to worry about making the wrong card decisions. You just have to worry about piloting the deck. So you already know you've got something that works. You just have to essentially solve the puzzle every turn.
Cool. So, what is it that you're playing with in Old Gods that seems to be working for you in terms of deck?
Right now I'm playing Cthulhu Warrior, but I also want to play around with and refine mid-range Hunter because Hunter got some really cool cards in this
Mhm.
expansion, much like Shaman, and kind of allowed the classes to branch out. And it's the same for Rogue actually as well. Used to be there was, excuse me, sorry. Used to be there was kind of like one archetype, one way to play. And some of these classes, Shaman, Hunter, and Rogue specifically, got tools to allow them to branch out into other types of deck building. So I started with Hunter. I really liked it. And then I started playing Cthulhu Warrior because I just kept getting wrecked by Cthulhu decks. So you need to, I actually think it's kind of probably in a bad space right now for mid range
Mhm.
stuff because, like, you can't kill them fast enough. So generally, they're able to get their Cthulhu out. And you don't necessarily have the big, huge, powerful finisher of Cthulhu. So,
Mhm.
aggro's doing really well right now, and Cthulhu's doing really well right now if you can, and control-y type stuff, if you can live that long. And then there's this, like, in-between where it's just, like, you're not fast enough for Cthulhu, but you can't survive enough against aggro. So
Mhm.
there's, like, yeah, I really want it to be viable, but I think right now it's just, and plus it's literally 24 hours into the
Yeah.
expansion, so, like, everything is just batshit crazy right now.
And that's the thing. It feels weird, like Blizzard almost weighed the meta in a way that everyone has Cthulhu, everyone has two cards to build Cthulhu up. So that kind of encourages everyone to be like, oh, I'm going to look at all the Cthulhu cards,
Hmm.
craft them or unlock them by opening card packs and build that version of the deck for every class.
Hmm.
And it's interesting because again, goes back to the way Blizzard's seen this card game and addressed a lot of issues that I had and a lot of other people had, and it's like there's just too much.
Yeah.
To revisit this game every 6 months, it's impossible to jump in, give Blizzard money, and jump out. So unless it's an adventure, and they want people to do that. They don't necessarily want everybody to be hardcore. They would love it, but it's not feasible. So they
Hmm.
want people to be able to taste test, throw a couple bucks at them and go try something else. And I think giving away portions of that expansion, whether it's card packs or a couple like a legendary, that's such a great way to encourage people to be like, ooh, rather than just try a couple new cards, I'm gonna try and just Cthulhu the crap out of this. And I really hope that in future expansions that they don't necessarily have to give 13 free packs, but just like there's a new expansion, here's 3 packs. Go nuts.
Hmm.
I think that's awesome. And I know a lot of people have been talking about, oh, this is just their way to kind of ease you into standard mode. But I'm really hoping that they at least continue with here's 3 packs, enjoy the new expansion kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, we have gotten 3 packs, I think, so far at each expansion,
Oh, we have?
in one way or another. So
Hmm.
I think you got 3 packs if you played Arena. I think there was like a Tavern Brawl. I can't remember, but I'm sure that there's been like bonus packs at each expansion. Not each
Oh.
adventure, but each expansion.
See, maybe, yeah. So I'm probably, I don't think it was as simple as logging in and getting them. So you're saying it was like the pre-event where you had to play.
I think so.
Yeah. I think
It's been
Arena
a
was
long
like,
time, so
it has,
Arena was Goblins versus Gnomes, so that was years ago. So
which they've removed. So
yes,
that's
yeah.
no more mechs or no more
There's
mass
still
mechs.
some mechs, but yeah, if you want to play strictly mech decks, then Wild is the place for you. And that's the thing, like all of these things that you know and love, they're not gone. They're just in a new game mode now. So you still have a ladder, you still have a way to play where you can actually gain rewards and progress. It's just that it's a little bit different than it was. Like standard is the standard for the World Championship. So that's really all that's changed, is that there are two different card pools to play in, but the game is just the same. So the
Yeah.
only thing is you're
It's,
not earning if you're playing in Wild and that's where you're having your fun, then you're not earning BlizzCon champion points. But if you're not going to be going to the World Championship, then what does it really matter? Like just play where
I
you're having fun.
don't plan on it going to
Yeah.
this little championship you speak of, but I just have to say, like the way they've implemented standard. I know when we talked about it like a month or 2 months ago when it was announced, it was kind of like this could be what I need, and I'm just really excited that they've done this, and it's good for both casual players and I think also for hardcore players because you still get to, like you said, you still get to obsess over every single card, new, old, future, because they're all there and
Hmm.
you get to play them. I mean, it is still unfortunate that some of the adventures aren't accessible, but the one that isn't accessible is probably the worst one. Like
Yeah.
Naxxramas, it was good. Not saying it was bad. I'm
Yeah,
just, it's,
BRM Blackrock Mountain was probably the worst one in terms of
oh yeah.
just like cards that came out of it and I guess interesting boss encounters. League of Explorers is far and away the best adventure, and I think that they're probably going to stick to that. Like they've gotten like better and better each time.
Hmm.
Well, I guess no. Nax was good, BRM was bad,
Oh,
and
okay.
League is the best. So, but I think they're learning things as they're going forward. So I think the next adventure will be kind of on par with League, if not better, somehow. I
Yeah.
don't even know how they could make it better.
I'm hoping that they like when they said, adventures aren't necessarily something that we have to do, but it's something we're thinking about. When they launched League of Explorers, I hope they heard loud and clear like that we want that.
Yeah.
Like it was shorter, but it was like playing a really good short narrative game. Like it
Hmm.
didn't matter that it was shorter. It mattered that it was just well polished, had some sort of storyline,
Hmm.
different stuff that you can experience in the main game, maybe in the Tavern Brawl a little bit, but it was those little mechanics like the running away from the boulder and stuff that
Yeah,
was
that was
just
cool.
super cool.
Yeah.
And I kind of want I kind of want something like that set in the old gods. Like even if they do an adventure but old gods edition, I'd be fine with that, you know? Because there's some cool stuff they can do with that.
Yeah.
And, I think that'd be neat.
Yeah. So we just wanted to remind everybody that you can go to bit.ly/amove store if you want to see our show logo on all of your favorite stuff like glasses and decals. So we were advertising for a BDO guild for a while.
Mhm.
We just wanted to let everybody know that we are actually offering advertising space on the show. So right here in the glassware ad spot, I think it was $5 an episode for
Yeah.
advertising. So yeah, it's super cheap. If you guys are interested and you have something that you want to let people know about, just hit us up at info@gamersinpodcast.com. Until then, you can head on over to bit.ly/amove store, and there's all kinds of stuff from TGI, ITN, TAC. It's all there. So go support some podcasts and get yourself some glasses.
Mhm.
And you can drink wine from them, and you can drink with me on stream. It'll be fun. From your
Yes.
TGI wine glass. I need to find my TGI wine glass. It's in a box somewhere.
Did those
Stupid
come
movie.
in?
Huh?
Did those come in? Did we
I
guys?
have one already.
Oh, perfect. Oh, you had,
Because
yeah.
yeah, Barbecue Master made me one and then gave it to me at BlizzCon. So I have mine already, but yeah.
We
We need to
figure
order. Yeah, we do need to order. But
we'll
anyways.
sort it out. We'll do that. We'll do it off air. Wait,
Yeah.
what's your credit card number?
Ha ha ha.
Yeah. I'll do that.
All right, so our topic of the week this week is Nintendo. So we do have a release date for the NX, which is March 2017, but unfortunately, that means that Zelda is delayed, and I don't think anyone is surprised at all.
I was not, I wouldn't say surprised, but I was super disappointed this morning, in which I texted Jocelyn probably way too early for her to
Yeah, I vaguely
comprehend.
remember you texting me, but I definitely didn't. I went to sleep about 2 hours before you texted me,
Oh my
and
God.
yeah, so.
You know
Oh
what I
my
need
God,
to
I
do?
went to bed an hour and a half before you texted me.
Oh my gosh, Jocelyn.
And
What did
so I rolled over and I read the message and then I went, okay, sleep.
you need to first of all, you need to put your phone on vibrate when you go to bed that late. Like those text messages at a normal time on a weekday should not be waking you up. So just shut your phone off. It's all good. But no, like I was super bummed, and I know of a few people who were very excited about this game when it was originally announced at E3 2014, and blown away by how it looked and what it was promising on the Wii
Was
U
that
tech.
really 2014? No.
Yes. Because
Oh.
last year was 2015, right?
Yeah, I guess it was. Jeez.
Yeah. And it wasn't even at E3 2015. And the Wired article that I posted in the chat is probably the best place where you can get all the, not just a press release, but like some actual information and some behind the scenes type stuff. And yeah, unveiled at E3 2014. And I know of a few people that were like, I'm buying a Wii U for this game
Hmm.
for next year. I'll experience, Splatoon, Mario Maker, whatever in the meantime. But I'm buying this for Zelda. And you, yeah, they've now delayed it to launch alongside the NX version. Now they haven't specifically said like Zelda's a launch title. It's pretty easy to read between the lines to kind of think that, but
I
with
almost feel
Nintendo,
like we did this to ourselves. Like you said, like there's so many people that were like, I'm going to buy a Wii U for Zelda. And they're like, oh, you'll buy a console for Zelda, will you? Well, I'm stroking my beard maniacally.
yeah,
And
it's a mustache. It's a mustache
oh, yeah,
because
oh, we're doing the mustache one? Okay.
well,
But
it's Mario.
oh,
Like,
that's true.
Mamma Mia, Jocelyn had bought the Wii U. Terrible. That's a terrible Mario.
But anyways, the point is, like, Nintendo might have seen this and gone, well, if we just delay it, then we can launch it with a console. They've probably already bought a Wii U by now because it's been years. So
Yeah, and I
now
mean,
you can buy our next one because it's going to have Zelda.
like, and personally, I liked the Wii U for what it offered in its video games. Like, I can name 10 great games that came out that I thoroughly enjoyed playing, which you
You've been a
cannot.
huge champion of the Wii U. I
I
will
liked it.
definitely say that. And the thing is, the Wii U has the most compelling exclusives because Nintendo is so locked down. Like, you can't play Nintendo titles on anything else. Often you'll see, Xbox titles on Windows, and, like a lot of big games are either releasing on Windows and PlayStation and Xbox, or they're exclusive for a month or two and then you're getting it on the other systems. So really Nintendo's the only one that's locked down that exclusive right now.
So much so that they've locked themselves out of great, like you said, great third-party experiences,
Hmm.
and that's why the Wii U or any Nintendo console going forward is ever going to be your one-stop shop for gaming. If you are a hardcore gamer, or just a gamer in general, I think at this point we can say like you don't need to be hardcore to want to play Nintendo games and everything else that comes out. The last Nintendo game that came out was Star Fox. There's a reason we haven't talked about it on the show. It's because I'm not going anywhere near it.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. I have been a champion of the Wii U, but only when Nintendo does smart things with the console. Not locking you into a gamepad and making you like do weird shit with it to. I'm feeling pretty salty today. I was thinking about like Star Fox Zero, and it's like the only way you can play is by looking at the gamepad, looking at the TV, going back and forth,
Mm.
and you aim with the gamepad because the gamepad is your cockpit and that's how you shoot. And then on the screen you kind of move your ship. So it's kind of like I think a lot of reviewers described it as like patting your head while rubbing your stomach
Ugh.
and then switching, which is the
I'm
worst feeling
so
in the world.
bad at that.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like I can't do it. I always just want to do one motion. It's not, it just doesn't work. So I've stayed away from it. I know some people will be like, man, after like playing two or three playthroughs, you get it. It's like revolutionary. It's like, but no, it's not because I could use a controller and have fun. But anyways, with this delay of Zelda, I was disappointed because like that was the game I was looking forward to for 2016,
Yeah.
and now it's now it's gone. And you know, speaking of Star Fox, Nikki Neutron in the chat room is talking about Ratchet and Clank, and this was a comparison I was going to make
Hmm.
if I had nothing else to talk about today. Was just Star Fox Zero is a reboot of a classic franchise. Ratchet and Clank is a reboot of a classic franchise. It's weird that Sony did it right and Nintendo dropped the ball
Hmm.
because you'd think that Nintendo would know how to, you know, make games that tickle your nostalgia bone. But so anyway, Zelda delayed. Are you gonna play Zelda? Like, are you gonna pick up what could be, I hate to say, it's not inferior, but like the Wii U, the previous generation version, like you did with the GameCube one for Twilight Princess?
It kind of depends. Generally, I am on the tail end of picking up consoles in their cycles. Like, I mean, I didn't have a 360 until probably 2 or 3 years before the Xbox One was came out. So, I mean, like, I am really behind. I never had a PS3.
Hmm.
I didn't get my PS4 until a year or more after release. So, I mean, like, it just, I'm usually at the tail end of a console cycle anyway because I tend to play everything on PC. So, it's not until they start doing these, like, crazy awesome bundles or, you know, big sales, that's when I usually pick up a console. So, um, unless there is a fantastically awesome like Zelda skinned with a special Zelda controller, like stuff like that, limited edition stuff might get me to pick up the NX, but it's going to have to be really really compelling. It's going to have to be really cool, and it's going to have no gimmicks. I don't want a gamepad. I don't want a motion control. I don't want a Kinect or any other thing like that. I don't want VR and I don't want 3D. I just want to sit down and push buttons. So,
Yeah, and that's why I'm not holding my breath yet on being a day one NX ordering machine. You know, I'm
mhm.
not gonna go there like I did with other Nintendo consoles because I've learned that lesson. You know, I want to know.
I
I
am
want
going to record this and I'm going to play it for you in February 2017.
no. I'm gonna buy an NX, but I'm not saying I'm not going all in before I know exactly what the hell it is because we still don't know what we know. The only thing we know concretely about the NX is that it's coming out in March 2017 and Zelda is going to be on it.
Hmm.
Like that's kind of crazy and even crazier. They're not going to talk about the NX at all at E3 2016. Um, which some say I've seen some people say like, oh, that's totally normal. E3's dying. It's going the way of CES where we're just going to see a bunch of GoPros. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And then other people are like, that's a chance where everyone's listening for Nintendo to sort of get up on their high horse and say, hey, we got a new console coming out in March.
Hmm.
Um, but Nintendo does a thing on YouTube and everyone covers it. So why would they spend millions of dollars?
Exactly. And they've
So,
done this for the past few years now where they've had
mhm,
a separate event either before or after where they've told us everything they want to tell us. So
yeah.
why would you make a big deal at E3? What they are going to make a big deal about at E3 is going to actually be the Zelda title, which I think realistically, that's what everyone wants to hear. As cool as it is to hear about new console stuff, like usually that's hardware driven and it's can be kind of dry and kind of boring. We already
Mhm.
have a release date, so they can't even wow us with that at the end of a console event. So what are they going to wow us with? Freaking new Zelda. Yay.
Yeah.
So, I think E3 is going to be fine for Nintendo.
Mhm.
I'm excited to see what they're going to tell us about Zelda. Sad, really sad that it's being delayed, but I totally understand. Like, clearly, if they weren't going to put the NX, because I think that's one thing that we were talking about is that Zelda, if it was coming out in 2016, that the NX would also be coming out in 2016 because Zelda should be the launch title of a new controller, of a new console, of a new controller, of a
Well,
new console, because Zelda is pretty much the franchise that now sells Nintendo. Um, I would say even like Mario isn't. They've almost iterated on Mario too much that you're
mhm.
getting 2 or 3 Mario titles. Plus, they've got, Mario Karts of the world and, all of these different. Now we've got Mario Maker, like these different kind of even spin offs of that universe. That now you're kind of just like, well, I know there's going to be a whole lot of Mario titles. So even if I don't get the console in the first year, there's going to be one in the second year and the third year and the fourth
Yeah.
year. But with Zelda, it's like there will be a Zelda per console.
Mhm.
So I
Well,
should probably get this.
yeah, and that's the thing about, and the other thing about Zelda is that it has the mass appeal. Like Mario, there are still people out there like, it's a kid game. I'm not gonna play it. It's a kid's game. But then when they look at Zelda, it works across the board. You know, it's still a teen E rating, so younger kids can play it, and it's still adult enough that treats you like an adult. You can play it, you know,
Hmm.
sometimes, unless it's reminding you like how many rupees a blue one is every 5 seconds. That was never fun. But I think that's why it works as and you're right. Like having that be the only thing at E3, it does not mix the message, and it sends two great things. Like we are going to send the Wii U out. If you don't want to buy an NX, just pick it up on Wii U.
Yep.
And we also get a hint at what the NX will offer. You know, we know it's going to obviously look as good or better than the Wii U, but I don't think there's going to be any sort of hints as to what the NX will be. Like there are rumors that it's this hybrid device where you can play at home and then take a version of it with you, like a handheld portion of it, similar to what Sega Saturn or no Sega the Dreamcast had with
Right.
the VMU units or whatever. I don't know that I don't think that sells consoles to me. Like I would even prefer them to be like just do the home console and then have the VMU unit be like an app on your phone or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
That would be more because I don't want to if it's not a dedicated handheld device, I don't want to carry around a thing that could be done on my phone.
Yeah.
And
Well, phones are so powerful now. It's just like
yeah.
we all already have some sort of a device with
Mhm.
which to do things on. Play,
Yeah.
call, talk, whatever. Call and talk, I guess, is the same thing. I'm really tired, guys. But
Skype, you
yeah,
know, in Discord. It's yeah, and Nintendo's getting better at that. Like they had Miitomo, they announced that Miitomo had 10 million downloads. I don't know how many of those people like put money into it, but they did
Mhm.
post a profit from their mobile. But they did. I think they actually had an operating or a profit difference of 60%. So they were still in. I think they were still in the red or in the black, but they are actually down 60%. And this isn't a numbers podcast, but when you lose 60% of your profits year over year, that's a pretty big dip,
Yeah.
you know? And this is a much beloved, company that's making video games, and I don't think anyone wants Nintendo to disappear. They want them to succeed, but they also want them to stop shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah. I
That'd be
still
really
say
great.
Nintendo that just makes games that goes
Mhm.
to a software only company. Oh my god, they would make so many dollars. Like if they
Yeah.
weren't concerned about hardware, if they weren't concerned about just doing things on Nintendo consoles, if you could play your Nintendo games on your Xbox or your PlayStation, because let's face it, the Wii U is them playing catch up. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't compete with what the other consoles can do. So if you had the power of an Xbox One, but you could play Zelda on it, like
Mhm.
come on. This is what they should be doing.
Yeah, and both those consoles, the Xbox One and the PS4, offered a second screen sort of companion service where you like even games that really benefited from the gamepad, like say Mario Maker, you could have a companion app where you
Mhm.
use just your fingers. Oh, I want to place a bunch of bricks there and there, and it would work.
Yeah.
It would probably be faster than the gamepad. The gamepad's
Yes.
actually slow, and this is it. This is Nintendo's make or break. Like they just sold their
Isn't
whether
that what
this
we said about the Wii U?
yeah, well, exactly. How many times can you have? Okay, this is their make or break. And I don't even think the Wii U was a make or break. I think the Wii U was them being like, well, the Wii succeeded, and the only reason it's not succeeding is because we're ignoring it to make this Wii U. So the Wii U is going to be a hit. It's HD Nintendo games with the Wii name. How can it go wrong? And I think that was their mistake. And now with the NX, I hope that they're kind of sitting there saying, okay, we can't mess this up. Like if we fail, if the NX fails, they will become a software only company. There's no
Hmm.
doubt about it. Like they're so good at making software, I don't think they'll ever disappear.
Yeah.
But they have to fail pretty hard to actually step out outright. But I think the NX will be like the thing they launch and not have like extra handhelds or something because that's another thing that was killing them. They're one company doing two different things.
Yeah.
Um, and the other thing they announced was more mobile games. So how excited are you to play more Nintendo mobile games?
Pretty excited, maybe. I guess I need to
Hmm.
get on board earlier, though,
Yeah.
because, like, I see this and it says, Animal Crossing, and I'm like, oh, great, yay,
Mhm.
that game that I bought that then nobody played with me.
But see, I think it's interesting because they announced two games coming in the fall on mobile, being Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem. Animal Crossing being a more casual
Hmm.
experience, and Animal Crossing is a casual experience. And if they basically take what makes Animal Crossing great and make it a free to play app on your, or even a premium game, they've
Hmm.
said they're going to do premium stuff. They also announced that it would actually work in tandem with other Animal Crossing games. So that might be a hint. Maybe we're getting a Wii U version of Animal Crossing. That'd be really nice. Uh, and I guess Fire Emblem is supposed to be a more hardcore game in that well, Fire Emblem again is a very hardcore
Yeah.
title. It's not as they've made it a little easier these days, but it's still one of those punishing tactical games, and I
Hmm.
think translates very well to iOS. I mean, sorry, mobile. So it's interesting, and I want to see what those are, and I want to see what I'm really excited to see what Zelda is because we've got a horse running through a field and Zelda or Link jumping off a horse and shooting things. Like that's
Yeah.
it. So to know like
And
the
even
title,
that was, like, stupidly exciting.
yeah, and
Like, did you see him jump off the horse and shoot that thing?
yeah,
Super cool.
it would be really interesting to see like usually with Zelda you get like the teases and the posters and some mini trailers to kind of show random footage, but when you get closer to launch you start to get like the story and the characters
Hmm.
and there's rumors that there could be voice acting and lots of great stuff and I it's time. You know, they could easily say like, "Oh, we're not even going to show Zelda at E3 since it's coming out in March. We'll show you at our NX event." I think it's very smart of them to focus on Zelda for E3 2016. Um, and I know a lot of people will be excited to see it. Like even people who are like, "I'm not buying an NX," and they might even not have a Wii U, but they might buy one of those depending on when the NX is
Hmm.
to play this Zelda game because man, what 5, 6 years in development? When did Skyward Sword come out?
Forever ago.
Yeah, it
Yeah, I don't even remember.
was like right before the show started. So
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe even earlier than that. I don't know. It just feels so long ago.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm excited, but I'm still disappointed that it
Yeah.
got delayed.
I'm excited to see what they're going to talk about, but yeah, it would have been nice to have Zelda this year. Oh
Mm.
well, we'll get it next year. It's really, I mean, it was going to be a holiday title, so it's a delay of a few months, really. It sounds worse than it is. Like,
Yeah,
oh, it got delayed to 2017. That's so far away, but realistically, we weren't going to get it until November, December anyway. So,
yeah. Someone put a funny tweet up. It was a delayed game is forever an NX title. A early release is forever a Wii U title or something. And it's like, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. And there, I wonder like, and that's the other thing. Like, there's no other titles coming out for Wii U this year. We had Star Fox and then a couple of Japanese ports that are coming out. There's a weird, very Japanese Shin Megami Tensei game coming out, and I think that's it.
mm,
So, and Paper Mario, but not really mass appeal on that one. So it's
yeah,
they're really just letting it die. Like
yeah,
look at Zelda, but don't look at the Wii U. We're
yeah.
taking it out to pasture.
Speaking of very Japanese games, I am still playing Sailor Moon Drops, and it's
Perfect.
awesome. And I might have actually wrote Matt into it, so
Really? How
we
does that work?
we have definitely not been like sitting next to each other on the couch and playing and stuff.
That's
That doesn't
awesome.
happen.
Now he's forever labeled as the Sailor Moon guy.
Yep, he's probably gonna hate that I told you
Ah,
guys.
fine. You know what? Everybody needs a break from Rocket League every once in a while, man.
He's shaking his head at me. I'm in so much trouble.
You'll be fine. As long as you keep the stream running, he can't do anything.
That's true. That's true. I think that's pretty much going to do it for us tonight. We wanted to thank all of our patrons and remind you guys that we have our Hangout and Game Night this Thursday. So we're going to start at 7 p.m. Eastern, and that is on twitch.tv/JossPlays. Also, if you head on over to patreon.com/thegamersin, you can see the post for Game Night. I wouldn't mind playing some Rocket League. I know that it's the hoops thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it hoops? I think so. Anyways, they basically put basketball into Rocket League, so
yeah,
that could be super fun. So yeah, if you are a patron and you want to vote on what we're going to play, that is over on patreon.com/thegamersin.
Mm-hmm. And our Inside the Game should be posted soon.
Yes, that is like the biggest video ever. So we didn't actually record live, so I was able to record the video at 1080p. And it was like 30-something gigs. It was so freaking huge. So it took like 9 hours to upload. So
yeah, it'll be worth the wait. And I think in the post we'll sort of list like sort of what games we could cover in May if we hit our 150 goal. And I think we are giving away a copy of Quantum Break on Windows 10 to those that are subscribed at the $2 limit by the end of April, we said, I think.
The end of April. So you only have a couple more days to get in on the Quantum Break giveaway. And again, I highly recommend that game. Man, it was so fun.
Yeah.
All right, so that does it for us tonight. You can visit us on the web at gamersinpodcast.com. You can also find us on A-Move TV along with other fabulous podcasts, including The Angry Nerd, Into the Nexus, Overwatchers, and The Angry Chicken. You can find us on Twitter. You can follow me, Jocelyn, at JossPlays. Ryan is at R. Murphy. And don't forget to follow the show at The Gamers Inn. The video versions of all our episodes can be found on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/AMoveTV. You can also find the show on Facebook and Google+. If you'd like to email the show and let us know what you thought about Wrath of the Old Gods, Whispers of the Old Gods, or how disappointed you are that we won't be getting Zelda until 2017, you can do that at info@gamersinpodcast.com. So thanks for staying at the Gamers Inn, and remember, tune in next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.